What's up, guys? This is Mr. Comer here, and I'd like to welcome you to week 2 of the Big Idea Project. During week 2, we're going to begin working on the first of 9 research checkpoints that are going to be necessary for your completion of your Big Idea project. And in checkpoint 1, you're going to be selecting a community issue or area of interest, which essentially means you're going to be choosing your topic. And we're going to be taking you through a research protocol that is going to kind of assist you in narrowing down your topic or help you learn more about the topic that you might already have an idea that you're going to be doing. So what does this document look like? Well, it's already shared with you. It should be in your portfolio, or you can search in your Google Drive search box for your last name. So for instance, it'll have your last name, comma, first name, and say checkpoint 1 research tracker, and everybody has their own individual one shared with them. And the major task here is that you are going to be documenting, finding, and citing and annotating 7 to 10 resources, internet resources, about a variety of topics or the topics of your choosing, so that you can narrow in on a singular topic. And then at the end, this document has a space for you to write your statement of intended research. So we'll discuss this more towards the end of the week. But for now, let's kind of talk about the meat of this document, and that's how we're going to go about dropping our resources into this tracker. So below on the instructions here, you're going to find kind of an example of what we're looking for each one of these. And I did one just to kind of show it to you, and this has already been, you'll have access to this as well. This evening, my wife and I were watching Olympic figure skating, and we were having a really hard time figuring out how the judging gets done. Like, was that triple axel a 6 or a 7? Like, I don't understand the numbers, so on and so forth. So we were both Googling around on iPads, and then I came across this article about, how different sources of bias creep in to the Olympic judging, and how maybe favoritism plays a part if there's Russian judges and then they're scoring athletes from their own country. So I read this article, and I went into my research tracker, and I dropped in all the important information. So for instance, today's date, topic I just said is Olympic judging bias. Oops. I dropped the link in there, so I'll have access to it later. And then I dropped the citation in. And notice it doesn't say like title, author, and so on and so forth down here in the box, but that's because we want you guys to get really good at creating these citations. Now, if you've watched Miss Gunn's super awesome citation video lesson, you know that this is pretty simple to use, to do if you have EasyBib. And I did watch that lesson, so I was able to generate my citation about this article, and then I dumped it right in here. And then I wrote a summary of the article. So in the summary, you're just saying what's the take-home message, what's the main argument, what are the topics that are covered. And in 100 words, I just discuss, there's favoritism and score trading, and they've tried to make some changes, and actually has backfired on them, and they need to do a better job at doing this. So if you highlight this, and you can kind of see the length of this, let's go to tools, word count. This is actually a little bit on the longer end. That's about 94 words. So you could be even a few lines shorter. You don't have to be, as detailed here. And then in the second part, you're asked to assess. So what does that mean? Is this a useful resource? How does it compare to other sources, maybe in your bibliography? Obviously, that won't apply to your first entry. Is this information reliable? Is it biased or objective? What is the goal of the resource? Anything like that. So you're judging its worth. And I think this is a useful source because I happen to quite like the site that it came from. Although I'm very often skeptical of so-called science writers, no offense to Bruce Bauer. But anytime when science writers summarize scientific literature, sometimes they get it wrong, so I prefer the primary source. So then you're charged with the task of reflecting. In 25 to 50 words, address the following question: how does this information fit into the scope of your research? Does it help you decide on a topic? How could you use this source in your research project? Has it changed the way you think? What effect has reading this had on your overall topic? And basically what I got out of this is that I'm interested in how bias can be influenced, can influence statistical and natural phenomena. I think this would be an interesting thing to quantify. And if I were to research this further, I would locate the primary sources, meaning the original articles that they're summarizing in this secondary source, and I would kind of look at the more detailed description to hear it from the horse's mouth. So that might be my next step if I were to continue working on this project. So yeah, that's a very brief introduction to how to use the Checkpoint One research tracker. I hope that this was informative for you, and if you have more questions, comments, or concerns, speak to any of your teachers, your mentor, and for more information, stay tuned to updates on CambrianEd.com. Cue the music.